like to welcome Pallavi on the airwaves of Funisha Radio 104.9 FM. A very good morning to you, Pallavi. How are you doing?
Very well. A wonderful morning to you as well, Meetu. How are you today?
I'm doing very fine, Pallavi. Tell me about yourself.
Okay.
What's going on at the legal end?
Sure. So I'm going to be talking about a few things that I want people to be careful about. We had talked last time when we were on the air on the SB4, the new Texas law that will allow people, the officers, police officers especially, anybody in the law area to be able to ask people for their papers. And that law is going to be effective from September 1st. I'm sure it's going to get challenged. But meanwhile, we will have some overzealous officers that will be doing this checks even a little bit before. So, and I wanted people to be aware of that. And I had some suggestions for a lot of people. And this is for moms and dads who are undocumented, but they have U.S. citizen children. They can do a few things to be prepared for the possibility that if they are victims and their children need to be cared for in their absence, the state of Texas has some forms, and this is one of the forms is authorization agreement for non-parent relatives, which parents, no matter what their status is, to designate a relative to care for the minor children. So there are a few categories in that, meaning that relatives that they designate must be related by either being a father, mother, sister, brother, either of the biological parents, and must be and the named relative must be at least 18 years of age. The relative also should be either a citizen or a green card holder. And this form is going to allow the relative to take care of the child and make medical and other decisions. So what we're imagining here is now the law goes into force. People that don't have their papers or do get caught in the snares here, and if that were to happen and you were suddenly not going to come back home and you get picked up by ICE, then you must have a plan of action in place that would hand the responsibility of your children to either relative, and then if you don't have a relative and you maybe just have a good friend or somebody you trust, a neighbor, then there is a special power of attorney that could be executed as well. And that should be put in place. I think it's very crucial also to execute a financial power of attorney. And this would at least allow people to give someone the right and ability to access financial institutions and to take care of the family's lease if they have, or anything else, or access to the accounts. So I want people to be aware, and this should be for anyone. I mean, anything can happen to anyone at any point, but at this point, I think it's important that I make or have people that may be susceptible to being picked up and they're undocumented, to make sure that their minors are cared for.
That's a brilliant suggestion for all our listeners here. Thank you for that, Pallavi. And we are getting many calls here. Should we start taking all of them?
Yes, and one quick thing, and this is on the immigration front. This is more on the family side, or more on the probate will side. I have a quick update, and that is EB1 is retrogressing to June of 2012 in this coming month. So that is in June of 2017. We have a retrogression here. EB1 category is always been current. Everybody expects it to come back in October, but this time the retrogression is causing the going back for India and for China to 4 years back, so which means that it may be a little slow coming back. And I want people who have EB1Cs that are pending to be aware, and if they can, file with adjustments of status right now.
All right. Thank you, Pallavi. Going to the callers now.
Let's go ahead.
Let's go ahead and take all the calls one by one. Do want you to all know that please keep your questions brief so that we can take many people who are waiting patiently for their question to be asked, So, yes, please go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi. You are live on air.
Hi Pallavi, thank you for taking my call. My question is, I have 2 visa and my wife is on L1 and I am working with a company and the visa is expiring in December. Her visa is expiring in December, and at the same time, we both will get the extension at the same time. Now, as far as the company is saying is, the extension can go only prior to 6 months, not before. So my question is, my EAD is also valid until the visa validity. So my question is, what if I don't get my EAD and my L2 visa extension, and depending on that, I don't have the L2 EAD with me? Can I continue working, or is there a way around?
Yeah, so there was a change in the rules that allowed people who were filing in categories for which they have been approved before, if they had a pending EAD application, then they can continue to work with that. So in this case, that should also allow you to continue work. But also, if you're filing 6 months prior, then you have ample time. Okay.
Right.
So
Sorry to cut in. Yeah, but as far as we know that one of our friends have also applied for the EAD, and he says it's taking more than 6 months, and EAD itself takes 3 months. So if the visa is not there with me, and probably my EAD will also expire. So let's say my visa is under processing and I haven't done the visa extension. Shall I continue working without the visa extension or the EAD or anything? Any suggestions?
Yeah, so the thing is, as long as you have a receipt for your EAD, you have the ability to use that to work. That's one thing. However, here is my suggestion. File the L1 and the L2 under premium processing service. Get that approved quickly, and then along with that, file your EAD. Right? So EAD right now, they have declared is pending for, it takes up to 6 months. That's how much time that they're actually taking. So you actually have sufficient time to continue. But if you did have your L1, L2 approved and your EAD pending, you have the ability to use that to continue work.
Okay, got you. So sorry, I'll try to keep very short. So if I don't have the visa approved, can't I continue, right?
Yes, because then you don't have the underlying status on which that EAD is based on. So that may be a slight gray area where I'll say you must have your L1, L2 approved for you to rely on that EAD that is pending, right? So that's the reason I suggest doing the L1 and L2, getting that approved under premium, and then along with that filing your EAD, and you should be fine.
Okay, so I can work on EAD receipt notice.
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much, Pallavi. As always, thank you so much.
All the best to you.
All right, thank you for your call. Please keep it brief. That's our request is to all the callers here. 972-235-5555 number in the studio. Going to our next caller. Yes, you are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Thank you for the call. Currently, I'm working in client A with the employer A, and I'm planning to move to client B with the same employer A. The client B is in about 20 miles distance from the client A work location. And the work location is on different MSA. Like this is in MSA 1 and the new client will be in MSA 2. So is the LCA and amendment required, or anyone is required in this case?
Okay. If it's filling up into a separate MSA, then I would say that yes, it's required. So is it going to be in the greater, for example, if you're in Dallas-Fort Worth, except if you go to Tarrant County, a lot of the wages are covered under, being in that same area. Is the wage coming out to be the same? Do you know that?
Yeah, wage will be same, and currently I'm moving from Dallas location to Fort Worth. So it is 20 miles.
Fort Worth is a different location. That is a separate county, a different location. So the difference here is not the fact that it's 20 miles from you, but this is a completely different county. Tarrant County and Dallas County wages are different, so this would require you to do an amendment.
They told it's a Tarrant County.
I'm sorry?
The new location, currently I'm Dallas, work location is Dallas, and the new work location is in Tarrant County.
Correct. I got that. So that's why I'm saying it will require an amendment.
So it will require an amendment and
Yes.
also
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, it will.
So okay, even if it is 20 meters, and I saw in
The exception that is made is based on not only counties but also the NSA. In your case, both are not being met. It's not only is it not in the same NSA, it's not in the same county, it's a separate county, and it has two separate kind of wages. When you pull up Tarrant County wages and Dallas County wages, they're completely different. It does require an amendment, sir.
So the wages are same, and I saw in USA website they mentioned like area of intended employment, meaning is there some
which would be comprised of your MSA.
All right.
okay.
Thank you for your...
Both LCA and amendment is separate, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you for your call. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. AhluwaliaLaw.com holds all the information that you need about their firm. Get in touch with them. 972-361-0606 is the number, and you do need to call to get an appointment with them. All right, going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, my name is Dasmi. I want to ask a question with Mr. Ahluwalia.
Yes.
My question is, I'm on F1, my husband is on F2, so he can work or not? Just know we got approval for that.
Sorry, is the question whether he can work or not? Is that the question?
Yeah, I'm on F1, my husband is on F2, so
Yes.
I can able to work, but my husband can able to work or not?
No, he cannot. F2s cannot work, and F1s can also work in limited circumstances. Either they have the optional practical training, which is the OPT, they have the STEM extension, they have curriculum practical training. Those are those options under which they can work. Or that they have the limited campus work that is allowed to them if the school allows that. So if you're meeting the scenarios that you can work, then that's fine, but F2s are not allowed that.
Okay, ma'am, I have one more question. My kids are in India, so can I able to bring them here?
So your kids are also F2s, and if they apply for the F2 visa, the only thing that that has to be shown is, number one, that you all will be going back and you have emotional ties back to the home country. You have financial strength, which means that you're capable of taking care of your children, and then of course that the fact that you are enrolled in your classes and you're maintaining your F1 status. So it depends on the consulate, but yes, they can come on the F2.
Okay, then. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you for your call. 972-235-5555 is the number in the studio. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your
Good
question.
morning. My question is like my mom is a U.S. citizen and she has applied for my sister who lives in Canada, and she applied in 2007, December of 2007. So I was wondering how long is the wait?
So your sister's applied for your mom, you said, and she's a U.S.
No, my mom is a U.S. citizen. She applied for my sister who is a Canadian.
Sorry, I misunderstood that. Okay, no problem. And is your sister married or unmarried?
She's married.
Okay. So, and your mom is born in India, correct?
I beg your pardon?
Your mom and your sister both born in India?
Yes.
Okay. So December 1st of 2005 is what's processing currently.
December 1st, 2000?
Yes. So this is the S3 category, and it's December 1 of 2005, which is the final action date. And the people that are actually getting their green cards are July 1st of 2005.
2005. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate your help.
Okay, all the best.
Thank you so much for your call. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please. Phanisha Radio, you're live on air. Please go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Thank you, ma'am. This is Sunil. My question is, right now I'm with some consultant, and my I-1 study is also done 1 year back. My question is, if I take a full-time with any other employer, and do I need to file the green card again all the way from the labor, or
Yes,
they can
yes.
upload 140?
Yeah, no. They have to. So, if you've had an I-140 approved and it has been approved for over 6 months, then that is your date to port, which means that priority date will belong to you, and you're able to use that I-140 for the purposes of AC-21 based extensions. Basically, once your H-1B is done with its 6 years, you can extend using that I-140. However, to get a green card out of it from that I-140, you should be either with that employer who did your I-140, or if you move to another employer, it could be B, C, or D, they have to do the perm and the I-140 for you and capture that priority date. If they do capture that priority date and you are with them at the time that your dates get current, they're the only ones that can file for your 485 at that point.
Oh, okay, yeah, that is clear for me. So as long as, if at all I change my employer also, so I'm eligible to go for the multiple extensions even after 6 years, right?
Correct.
With the same I-140.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. All the best.
Thank you for your call. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question,
With the
please.
same I-140.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question with Pallavi. What forms we need to fill up? My son, he got married in Pakistan, and he's gonna apply. He is a U.S. citizen.
Okay. So he wants to sponsor his wife, is your question?
Married in Pakistan. So what forms like I-130 and what else?
So I-130 showing the marriage, the bona fides of the relationship, plus G325 based on the
Okay, I think we got disconnected. Pallavi, do you want to finish off the question?
I have a little disturbance, but hopefully he's listening. The I-130 as well as the G325A forms is what's required for this. The I-130 has recently changed, so be careful about which version you're using. Go to USCIS and get the latest version from there. That form just changed in the end of April, actually on the 23rd of April. So we have a new form for the I-130. It's pretty long. It's about 9-10-page form, plus the G325 for both the beneficiary as well as the petitioner.
All right, thank you, Pallavi. Going on to our next caller, Phanisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hi, Pallavi. So my question is, I'm with an employer right now with I-140 and H-1B, and I am thinking to change my company, but I've heard that there is no H-1B premium processing right now, correct? Correct. So the thing is, if I change the company right now and then I have to go to India in December, so will this all process be okay to do this? Because I'll require stamping and all, but I'm not sure if I'll get the H-1B from the second company approved or not. Know what I mean?
Yeah, so the plan for India should be only made upon your approval. If you want to come back and work for this employer who's sponsoring you on the second H1, because of course you have to go stamping if you have to go back, unless you have a visa that takes you past that time. And then that too, you need an approval notice in your hand when you come in, then because CBP will question you as to where you're going. So the answer is, if you have a transfer pending, you can travel, but the return can only be done once you have that approval with you.
So how long is taking for the H-1B approval once you do a transfer or something?
So we have less visibility right now to what the government is doing. We are seeing random approvals, some approvals that are coming in really quick without premium processing service also, some that we have gotten in within a month, and some that are taking a while. So at this point, till we've gone past and understood how the government is, I think it's not a very predictable process currently. At this point, I would say you have to space it out and give yourself at least 6 months.
So, sorry, just one last question. Then the best bet is not to change the company right now and just have a visit to India and then come back and do the change of company.
Right, that's fine. If it's the visit to India that's going for you, then yes. Or change the company and don't visit yet. So either way.
Okay, thank you so much, Pallavi.
All right.
All the best.
Thank you for your question. Going on to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hello. I'm applying my mom's green card. The 5-year visa on my mom's passport expires on September of this year. And her visa, the 6-month visa expires on June 11th. Can I still apply for the green card?
Is she in the country at this time?
I'm sorry?
Is your mom in the country? Are you applying for an adjustment for her?
She's in the country.
Okay. Yes, you can. So even if it's expiring, please don't do anything to extend it. Once you file your I-138 485 for her, then she will remain here and remain pending. If she has to travel, then she has to travel with an advance parole. She cannot leave without that, because if she does, then she will abandon her application. So she can file right now, and the fact of the visa expiring for her.
She will still be in status even though her visa expires, right?
Correct. Yeah, that is not an issue, because she has an adjustment which is the larger of the application, which will be pending for her.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
All right. Thank you for your call. And there are so many other calls that are coming at this point of time. And we would like to request them to call us back next Wednesday, when we will have Pallavi back on the airways. Right, Pallavi?
Yes, thank you so much, Meetu, for hosting me. Am I already done?
Yes, you are. I know the time flies.
I am done. Okay, it does fly. So we just want the people, and I'm calling out to all the EB1 Cs. I know we have plenty of them around here from India, that should be aware that if they have an I-140 that was filed for them, they have the ability to file their 485s right now, because there is a retrogression coming up, and that's taking you back to about 4.5 years.
All right. Thank you, Pallavi, for doing this for the entire community here. Always appreciated.
My pleasure. I will talk to you, and I will be back next week.
Absolutely.